tell me about that. So you ended up working for your mom's furniture store?
Well, I ended up working at the furniture store after high school. Unfortunately, 2 years later, I think after that, we had to shut down. Economy changed. And so started working at Louisiana State Penitentiary.
Okay.
As a correctional officer.
All right. What gave you that idea to go be a CO?
Well, in that particular culture, in that area of state institutions, really are the biggest employers. We actually have in that parish, at county, there's another prison, but the state penitentiary is like the parish over.
Got it.
And so if you didn't do anything in that area growing up, you knew you could always, as they say, go work for the state.
That was a go-to job.
And so, and you could raise a family off of that. And so I started, went there, applied, got hired on, 19 years old, like, wow, I'm in here with, these hardcore guys. How's this going to work out? But I quickly integrated in and did the job and thought that that's where I was going to be.
Yeah.
Got comfortable. Only thing I was on nights. I wanted to go on days. And they kept giving me the runaround. And so one day, a good friend of mine, childhood friend, he also worked there. He leaves after like 8 or 9 years. I'm like, dude, you got that much time, man. You're leaving? And he was like, yeah, man, I'm going to drive trucks. And so I said, well, what kind of truck? And he, concrete truck. And so I was like, okay, cool. And so after they kept giving me the run around with getting on days, I said, well, you know what, man, how did you do that? What license you needed to do that? And he said, Class B, you don't need a Class A. And I said, okay, so what's the roadmap? What do I need to do? He said, man, all you gotta do is get the CDL book, take the test, and which is Outbreaks and General Knowledge. I think it's still like that. Yeah. So, and you take the road test with a third party. He told me who that was, and just like that, I took that test, went to the third party, passed the road test, got the license. I was like, okay, wow, now what are we gonna do now?
Right.
Are we gonna go ahead and step on out here? You got 3 years in, what are you gonna do? And I just said, you know what, why not? We're gonna step on out there. Wife, her uncle had been at the concrete plant 20-something years. So I told him, hey, man, I got a license. Can you get me on? He was like, yeah, ain't no problem. And the rest is history. That's how I started into trucking.
Making sure that your compliance is on point is an integral part of any trucking related business. Today, I stopped by my friends over at Fleet Drive 360 to talk about what they're building to make sure that you can run a successful trucking company.
And it's everything from the minute you decide you want to hire somebody through maintaining all of your FMCSA compliance documents for ongoing fleet or owner-operator truck business. You've got a driver hiring and recruiting module where you'll create driver qualification files, import digital documents. You've got a drug and alcohol module where you can schedule pre-employment drug tests and manage an ongoing testing pool. We've got an accident registry so you can keep your mandated accident logs and even schedule follow-up drug testing for post-crash. We've got vehicle maintenance logs so you can not only maintain the compliance status of your vehicles, but also upload your work orders and compliance-related documents so you're audit ready when they come in. We've got a document repository, fancy words for digital cloud storage of any document that you want, not just necessarily the compliance documents, anything related to your business, post-crash videos, performance evaluations. And then finally, you've got the dashboard. And the dashboard's the most important part. You can close your eyes and glance at our dashboard, open them, glance at the dashboard, and immediately know whether or not you're compliant or not, both on a driver, company, and vehicle level.
It's one-stop shop for all your compliance needs.
Got it. So when you say her uncle, did he have his own business or was he connected with?
No, he worked. Yeah, he worked there. He was a long-time employee of that ready-mix concrete company. Yeah.
Okay, so he got you a driving job.
Yeah, he got me hired on as a greenhorn, not knowing nothing. Rode with him. He was going to be the one that trained me.
Okay, so talk to me about that experience, that transition into driving.
Oh man, it was all I can remember. Is just this thing just seemed so big. Getting into the truck, I'm like, man, this just all seems so huge. And, even though I got the license, I took the road test in the school bus.
Okay.
All right, so that's automatic. But when I got into this truck, you know, it's you got a clutch, you got a pedal wheel, and I'm like, you know, and I'm up in here, and he's like, you know, hey, you got to mash the clutch to go in gear. And I'm mashing the clutch every time, you know. In trucking, we call that double clutching, right? And that's how they teach you in school. But experienced truck driver, we float gears. I ain't knowing about floating no gears. He's like, all you gotta do is tack it up, you know. And once you get the RPMs up, that's when you're shifting the gear.
Right.
Well, easier said than done when you don't know anything. So it was a learning curve to it, because you're trying to learn how to drive the truck, but then also operate the truck as it relates to concrete, putting chutes on, pouring it out, how wet is too wet. I mean, it was a tremendous learning curve. But he stuck with me, and I guess maybe a month, I began to get the concept of the floating the gears, you know, downshifting, that kind of thing, and basically learn how to do it from practice. And finally, they turned me loose, put me in my own truck. And I'll tell anybody, you will learn. That biggest learning will come when you're also by yourself. After you got that foundation, you get in here by yourself. You don't have a choice but to get it one way or the other. And nobody's there that's going to be telling you, oh, hey, you got to do this.
That's right.
And so I began to love that job, man. It was, and I tell guys these days, that was in the days of no air conditioning. So y'all spoiled truck drivers, not, because that was the days of no air. You know, we had to finagle, you know, you take that side window and open it up, and then the air will come in like that from going down the road. But also the bumblebees in the walls too, right? So that was it was some good days, man. I really enjoyed myself. It was the freedom of the road, the freedom of being, you know, I'm in this truck by myself, and all I got to do is do my job, you know, at the pace that I like, delivering concrete to these jobs. And so the fascination was seeing something come from nothing to something. That's what did it for me. This form of a house that's empty and formed up, and then what you're bringing is helping it to become somebody's home.
Yeah.
So it's the nothing to something thing that fascinates me, and still does even to this day.
What has changed, because you've been in this business for a long time, what has changed the most in the business that you could identify? I'm sure it's a lot, but what's like the main things for people coming in that's different, you know, now from when you first got started?
Oh, wow. I can name several.
Talk to me.
The breed of the driver is different. That's for sure. I mean, when I started, you did what you had to do to make the day. If the air went out, you made the day. These guys, these days, the air go out, that made the breakdown. That made the breakdown.
Call service.
Oh, man, look, they be ready to bring it in, man. I'm like, just make the rest of the day. I'm going to get the guy over to the house this evening.
Right.
Them dudes be ready to come in.
Yeah.
And so the breed of the driver in that regard, in the regard that most of these youngsters, they ain't fixing on nothing. They don't know how to do nothing. And so that's the biggest thing, man. I'm used to that old hand. I mean, we could take some tie straps and patch something up just to make day, because I'm thinking it's the big picture. We ain't gonna let that cut our money.
Right.
But these guys don't be thinking like that. So you be like, okay, you know, we'll just stay there. You're gonna be okay. Well, hey, such, you know, okay, well that's fine. The light came on, but I know what that is. Go ahead and make the rest of the day.
Right.
You know, I'll have it checked out this evening. So the breed of the driver is different. Obviously, the overhead, the pay hasn't caught up with overhead. I'll say that. That's a big difference. The insurance is out the wazoo. In Louisiana, we're one of the worst in states for insurance. I was talking to some people at the exhibit hall about that, see can they help us. So my thinking is trying to bring something back, not just for me, but for everybody on that end. So the insurance is different. The insurance is much higher. I mean, I went from when I started $300 a truck, $400 a truck, to now I'm paying for these new trucks close to $2,000, $2,500 insurance. So the insurance is saying, obviously fuel. Fuel is different. You talk about fuel is probably tripled or quadrupled. So those are some immediate changes. And then just in the business now, back then, it probably was more camaraderie with the truckers. You know, we needed each other more, so we looked out for each other more. This breed is every man for himself. And we still, some of the older guys, I'm that old guy now, so we're trying to get these guys to understand we need each other. We got to network together. If we come together, then it'll be easier for us work-wise, going to these companies and to help each other when you might not have nothing, or if I got a truck that ain't doing nothing, you could call me.
Yeah.
Right. And so it's that camaraderie amongst the truckers. One of the things, Ramel, I absolutely don't like, is that there's an assumption because we're doing it on the level we're doing it at, I don't need no help. In other words, I've gotten not called because they're intimidated that I'm gonna come and take over the job. You know what I mean? That kind of thing from the brothers. I can't tell you how many times I get left out because he don't need nothing. He doing good, or he going if he come over here, he know how to talk business. He might end up with take the job. It's just craziness like that.
Right.
So there's an intimidation thing, and so sometimes you feel like the lonely guy in the business. And I regret that. I don't like that because I'm just an everyday guy. I want to be one of the guys too. And I've tried to help who all I can help, but sometimes success also brings a measure of loneliness. Even amongst the guys that you work out there with, because there's an intimidation factor. There's just not that same camaraderie. The guys that I came through with, who I'm still cool with, they don't be bothered by that. And they know I got that many trucks, but they'll still call, hey man, you ain't got nothing, such and such is doing something. That's what I'm used to.
Right.
These guys don't do that. These newer guys. And so that's the only thing. I miss that camaraderie.
Got it. Last question. So for anybody, and there's plenty of people who are looking to get into dump trucks, it's a very popular topic, especially on, truck and hustle. Sure. What piece of advice would you give those guys looking to get into this business? What's the most important thing they need to think about before they get started?
Research the business. I think that's the biggest thing. I think what I've seen, that's going to be my number one, research the business to learn all the ins and outs. Get all the information you can. More information creates a level of comfortability. I think people are panicky. A lot of anxiety is because of the lack of information. Just think about it. With anything, the more you get more information about something, the more comfortable you are. Don't get me wrong. There's that eventual leap of faith that you have to take. But do the research and don't just think this is a money pit. We can, as you do on your channel, we can give the game, but we can't give you the hustle.
That's right.
Yeah. It takes truck and hustle. Y'all got that right. You got that right. You got that right. It takes truck and hustle. We can give them the game, but you got to have some hustle with you. And I've seen guys not work a Friday because they got to go pick the check up. Just craziness like that. And so you got to, we give you got to have the hustle. That's another thing. And then I think the last thing would be budget conscious. I've seen them come and go, Ramel, from balling out of control. Once that money hit their hands, they start doing good. They start seeing that kind of cash come in. Next thing you know, there's an SL 500, the doggone big boy Lexus. I'm like, in moderation, brothers, in moderation.
Right.
It's okay to do that in moderation, though. You been out here 6 months and this joker we got $100,000 car that's got what, a $1,500, $2,000 note that the business got to pay for. So look at the pressure you put on the business immediately before you've even established a foundation.
That's right.
So that's what I would tell them, man. You can't don't ball too quick is where I would put it.
No doubt.
Don't ball too quick.
I love that. We are here live at OTR Solutions HQ. I'm here with my partner, Jonathan. Man, listen, factoring is an integral part of the transportation industry. Why is factoring important?
Absolutely, Ramel. In this economy, in this market, cash flow is king. Cash flow is the key to growth. If you have a young trucking company, or if you've been in the industry for years and you want to take that business to the next level, we're absolutely a company that can help. So I hope you'll give us a call today. Let us know what we can do to help you out.
Get the rest and roll with the best. Let's go. Where you kind of ended your story, you have 3 trucks now, right?
Mm-hmm.
And
at that time,
At that time, and you're doing the limestone, right? Mm-hmm. But now you get out the truck, mm-hmm. right? So tell me about that transition. You start more so working.
If you twisted, confused, or stuck about trucks, don't be dumb. This is the place to come. Truck and hustle. Let's go.